Welcome back to B&B Spoilers channel. Today we will learn about the intriguing developments in the world of the bold and the beautiful. In the ever-evolving landscape of daytime drama, the possibility of redemption always looms on the horizon. As we delve into the latest twists and turns, we find ourselves pondering an unexpected alliance that could reshape the entire dynamic of the show. Luna Nozawa, recently liberated from her confinement, finds herself struggling to acclimate to her newfound freedom. The transition proves to be far from smooth, as Luna's fixation on Dr. John Finnegan remains unshakable. This obsession sets the stage for a potentially explosive confrontation with Steffy Finnegan, Finn's devoted wife. Steffy, ever the fierce protector of her family, is not about to let Luna's presence go unchecked. With the memory of Sheila Carter Sharp's reign of terror still fresh in her mind, Steffy's vigilance is at an all-time high. Her determination to keep her loved ones safe from harm may inadvertently push Luna to the brink of desperation. As Luna's desires intensify and Steffy's protective measures escalate, we find ourselves on the precipice of a dangerous game of cat and mouse. The tension between these two formidable women threatens to erupt into a life-or-death scenario, reminiscent of their previous encounters. While the Luna-Steffy Finn triangle unfolds, we cannot ignore the dramatic downfall of Hope Logan, once the darling of the fashion world and moral compass of the Forrester family. The revelation of Carter Walton's deception in the takeover scheme sent shockwaves through the Forrester empire. While fingers point accusingly at Hope, it's crucial to remember that Carter, as an adult, bears responsibility for his own actions. The complexity of human nature and the power of manipulation come into sharp focus as we examine the aftermath of this betrayal. In a surprising turn of events, Carter finds himself grappling with overwhelming guilt. Despite securing his position at Forrester Creations, the weight of his actions proves too heavy to bear. His attempt to negotiate Hope's continued presence at the company backfires spectacularly when Steffy refuses to honor the deal. The rejection and betrayal Hope experiences trigger a profound emotional crisis. Her confrontation with Brooke Logan reaches a fever pitch, culminating in a near-physical altercation that's narrowly averted by Katie Logan's intervention. This moment of intense vulnerability showcases the deep-seated pain and frustration that have been building within Hope. A glimmer of hope in darkness. As Hope grapples with the consequences of her actions and faces potential mental health challenges, an unexpected opportunity for redemption may present itself. With Luna's obsession reaching dangerous levels, there's a palpable fear that she may attempt to eliminate Steffy once and for all. The stakes couldn't be higher as Luna sees Steffy as the final obstacle between her and Finn. In a twist of fate that no one could have predicted, Hope may find herself in a position to save Steffy's life. This selfless act could be the key to Hope's redemption, offering her a chance to mend fences with the Forrester family and rebuild her shattered reputation. The path to redemption is never easy, especially in the world of soap operas where alliances shift like sand and yesterday's villain can become tomorrow's hero. As Hope potentially faces mental health treatment, this period of introspection and healing could prove transformative. It may provide her with the tools and perspective needed to navigate the treacherous waters of forgiveness and reconciliation. Should Hope indeed save Steffy from Luna's machinations, the act could serve as a catalyst for a gradual rebuilding of trust. The Forrester family, known for their capacity for forgiveness, albeit often after dramatic confrontations, might find themselves re-evaluating their stance on Hope. As we eagerly anticipate the next episodes of The Bold and the Beautiful, we're left to ponder the potential outcomes of these intertwining storylines. Hope's journey from fallen grace to potential savior underscores the enduring theme of redemption that has long been a cornerstone of the show. It reminds us that even in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds, there's always a chance for renewal and growth. The possibility of Hope and Steffy finding common ground through this harrowing experience opens up exciting narrative possibilities. Could this shared trauma lead to a newfound understanding between these longtime rivals? Luna's storyline serves as a stark reminder of the destructive power of obsession. As her fixation on Finn reaches its zenith, we're forced to confront the fine line between love and dangerous infatuation. As we close this chapter of our B&B analysis, we're left with more questions than answers. Will Hope find her way back into the good graces of those she's wronged? Can Luna be stopped before her obsession leads to tragedy? And how will Steffy navigate the dual threats to her family's safety and happiness? Next, we will learn about the intriguing developments surrounding Taylor Hayes and her mysterious professional situation that has fans buzzing with speculation. The curious case of Dr. Taylor Hayes' missing career. In the sun-drenched, glamorous world of Los Angeles' elite social circles, where fashion dynasties reign supreme and romantic entanglements are as intricate as the latest Forrester Creations designs, one particularly perplexing mystery has captured the attention of the bold and the beautiful enthusiasts worldwide. The enigmatic Dr. Taylor Hayes, once celebrated as a brilliant psychiatrist whose therapeutic insights were sought after by the creme de la creme of society, appears to have mysteriously vanished from her professional sphere entirely. This conspicuous absence from her once thriving practice has ignited a wildfire of theories among the show's dedicated viewership. The vanishing act of a once prominent therapist. Taylor Hayes, portrayed with remarkable emotional depth and nuance by Krista Allen following the iconic Hunger Games actress's departure from the role, has long stood as a beacon of psychological wisdom within the show's universe. Her office once served as a sanctuary for troubled souls seeking guidance through life's most challenging emotional labyrinths. Yet in recent months, viewers have been treated to precisely zero scenes featuring Taylor in her professional capacity. Her therapeutic couch remains unoccupied, her appointment book mysteriously empty. This glaring omission from the narrative has not escaped the eagle-eyed attention of fans who have followed Taylor's journey through decades of dramatic storylines. Social media platforms are ablaze with discussions analyzing this curious development, with many questioning whether this represents a deliberate storytelling choice or perhaps something more significant about the character's trajectory. The license suspension theory gains momentum. As viewers attempt to make sense of Taylor's professional disappearance, one particularly compelling theory has gained substantial traction within the fandom: the possibility that Dr. Hayes has had her therapeutic license suspended or revoked entirely. This explosive speculation has spread like wildfire through fan forums and discussion groups, with amateur sleuths combing through episodes for subtle clues that might confirm or refute this dramatic development. The writers have been dropping breadcrumbs about this for months, suggests longtime viewer Margaret Thornton in a popular B&B fan group. Notice how Taylor never mentions her practice anymore, and how other characters seem to avoid discussing her professional life. That's not coincidental storytelling. Indeed, several recent interactions between Taylor and other characters have been notably devoid of references to her career, a stark contrast to earlier storylines where her psychiatric expertise was frequently highlighted and often central to plot developments. This conspicuous silence regarding her professional standing has only fueled speculation about a potential license revocation. The irony of the healer who cannot heal herself. Perhaps the most fascinating aspect of Taylor's current storyline is the profound irony it presents. A renowned mental health professional who appears fundamentally unable to apply her therapeutic principles to her own life circumstances. This dichotomy between professional knowledge and personal application creates a character study of remarkable complexity. Family dynamics, the therapist blind spot. Taylor's relationship with her daughter, Steffy Forrester Finnegan, has become increasingly fraught with tension and questionable guidance. Recent episodes have showcased Taylor offering advice to Steffy that many viewers have characterized as enabling, biased, or psychologically unsound. In one particularly memorable scene, Taylor appeared to validate Steffy's more vindictive impulses toward the Logan family rather than encouraging the kind of emotional processing and boundary setting that would align with contemporary therapeutic best practices. It's almost as if the writers are deliberately highlighting the disconnect between Taylor's professional training and her maternal instincts, notes clinical psychologist and occasional B&B viewer Dr. Eleanor Ramirez. From a professional standpoint, many of her interactions with Steffy would raise serious red flags in the therapeutic community. This apparent inability to maintain professional objectivity when it comes to her own family could certainly provide narrative justification for disciplinary action from a licensing board. Ethical guidelines for mental health professionals explicitly address conflicts of interest and the maintenance of appropriate boundaries, areas where Taylor's behavior has frequently crossed into questionable territory. The psychological blind spots of a therapist. Beyond her relationship with Steffy, Taylor has demonstrated numerous psychological blind spots that would be concerning for someone in her profession. Her persistent inability to recognize destructive patterns in her own romantic life, particularly her decades-long attachment to Ridge Forrester despite repeated rejection, suggests a concerning lack of self-awareness. There's something almost tragically compelling about watching a character who should have the tools to recognize unhealthy attachment continue to pursue the same heartbreaking relationship over and over. Comments relationship therapist Sophia Williams. It's a powerful reminder that intellectual understanding of psychological principles doesn't automatically translate to emotional application. This cognitive dissonance between Taylor's professional knowledge and personal choices creates a character of fascinating contradictions. The woman who has presumably helped countless patients navigate relationship difficulties appears helplessly trapped in her own emotional quagmire, a situation that might well have professional consequences if her personal struggles began to impact her clinical judgment. The Eternal Triangle, a study in psychological masochism. No analysis of Taylor Hayes would be complete without addressing the central romantic conflict that has defined much of her adult life, the seemingly eternal love triangle involving herself, Ridge Forrester, and Brooke Logan. This decade-spanning emotional entanglement has evolved from a captivating storyline into what many viewers now perceive as an exercise in psychological masochism. The psychological cost of perpetual rejection. The pattern has become painfully familiar to longtime viewers. Ridge oscillates between Taylor and Brooke with a regularity that could almost be timed with a metronome. Each cycle follows a predictable trajectory. Ridge returns to Taylor, professes undying love, then inevitably finds himself drawn back to Brooke. Taylor, despite her psychological training and presumed understanding of unhealthy relationship patterns, repeatedly allows herself to become reinvested in this doomed dynamic. What we're witnessing with Taylor is a textbook example of what psychologists call intermittent reinforcement, explains Dr. Jonathan Mercer, a relationship psychologist. The occasional positive outcomes, those brief periods when Ridge chooses her, are enough to keep her hooked in the cycle, even though the overall pattern is overwhelmingly negative. It's actually the most addictive form of reinforcement, more powerful than consistent positive feedback. This psychological mechanism helps explain Taylor's seemingly irrational persistence in pursuing a relationship that has caused her tremendous pain over the years. However, it also raises serious questions about her professional judgment. A therapist who cannot recognize and address such a fundamental pattern in her own life might reasonably face scrutiny from licensing authorities concerned about her ability to guide patients through similar situations. From a narrative perspective, Taylor's inability to break free from this destructive romantic cycle could serve as the perfect catalyst for a storyline involving professional consequences. A licensing board might reasonably question whether a therapist so entangled in her own emotional web could maintain the necessary objectivity to treat patients effectively. In real-world therapeutic practice, regular supervision and personal therapy are considered essential components of maintaining professional effectiveness, notes clinical supervisor Dr. Rebecca Chen. The show could explore a compelling storyline where Taylor's licensing board mandates therapy or supervision as a condition of maintaining her credentials, essentially forcing her to confront the very patterns she's been avoiding. Such a storyline would create rich opportunities for character development while addressing the long-standing issue of Taylor's seemingly inexplicable professional credibility despite her personal chaos. Another defining characteristic of Taylor's narrative arc throughout the years has been her tendency to physically remove herself from Los Angeles following emotional setbacks. This geographical solution to emotional problems has become so predictable that viewers often anticipate her departures following major romantic disappointments. Flight as a response to emotional pain. Taylor's pattern of fleeing Los Angeles when faced with romantic rejection, particularly when Ridge inevitably returns to Brooke, represents a psychologically significant avoidance strategy. Rather than processing her grief and disappointment while remaining in proximity to her support network and her children, Taylor historically opts for geographical escape as her primary coping mechanism. This flight response tells us something important about Taylor's emotional resilience, suggests trauma specialist Dr. Maria Sanchez. Despite her training in processing difficult emotions, when faced with her own pain, she consistently chooses avoidance over confrontation. This pattern of geographical escape serves as a physical manifestation of psychological avoidance. The irony of a therapist who would presumably counsel patients to face their emotional challenges directly while herself consistently choosing avoidance creates another layer of complexity to Taylor's character. This disconnect between professional knowledge and personal application further reinforces the plausibility of the license suspension theory, the impact of intermittent presence on professional standing. From a purely practical standpoint, Taylor's habit of periodically abandoning Los Angeles would make maintaining a consistent therapy practice nearly impossible. Patients requiring ongoing care would necessarily be transferred to other providers during her absences, creating disruptions in therapeutic relationships and potentially causing harm to vulnerable individuals. Continuity of care is a fundamental ethical principle in mental health treatment, explains psychiatric nurse practitioner Elaine Woodward. A therapist who repeatedly abandons her practice for extended periods would likely face professional consequences, particularly if patient care was compromised as a result. This practical consideration provides yet another potential explanation for Taylor's apparent lack of professional engagement. If her license hasn't been formally revoked, it's entirely possible that her reputation within the therapeutic community has been so damaged by her pattern of abandonment that rebuilding a practice has become virtually impossible. The future possibilities, redemption and reinvention. As viewers speculate about Taylor's professional status and future storylines, several intriguing narrative possibilities emerge. The question of whether Taylor can or should reclaim her professional identity offers rich storytelling potential that could breathe new life into this long-established character. The road to professional redemption. Should the writers confirm that Taylor has indeed lost her license to practice, her journey to reclaim her professional standing could provide compelling drama. This storyline might involve Taylor confronting her own psychological blind spots, perhaps with the help of another therapist who forces her to examine the patterns that have dominated her life. There's something beautifully symmetrical about the idea of the therapist becoming the patient, notes television critic Jordan Mongeray. Watching Taylor struggle through the very process she has guided others through could create moments of profound self-discovery and growth. This redemption arc might include Taylor facing a formal review board where she would need to demonstrate genuine insight into her past professional and personal failings. Such scenes would allow for powerful confrontations with her own history and potentially create opportunities for reconciliation with characters she may have harmed through questionable advice or actions. A complete reinvention. Alternatively, the writers might choose to take Taylor in an entirely new professional direction. Perhaps losing her therapy license becomes the catalyst for Taylor to reinvent herself completely, exploring a new career path that still utilizes her psychological knowledge but in a different context. I could see Taylor channeling her expertise into becoming an author or public speaker, suggests fan theorist Rebecca A. Williams. This would allow her to share her knowledge without the ethical constraints of one-on-one therapy, while also acknowledging that her personal struggles have compromised her ability to practice traditionally. Such a reinvention would honor the character's established background while creating fresh storytelling opportunities. It might also allow Taylor to develop a new sense of identity separate from both her professional past and her relationship with Ridge, potentially breaking the cycles that have defined her character for decades. The viewer experience. Why Taylor's journey matters. The speculation surrounding Taylor's professional status highlights the deep investment viewers have in this complex character. After decades of watching Taylor's triumphs and tribulations, audiences have developed a nuanced understanding of her psychology and a genuine concern for her well-being. The appeal of watching growth and change. Part of what makes soap operas such an enduring genre is their unique ability to show character evolution over extraordinarily long periods. Viewers who have followed Taylor's journey for years or even decades bring a rich contextual understanding to her current storylines, allowing for storytelling with unusual emotional depth. When you've watched a character make the same mistakes repeatedly over 20-plus years, there's something particularly satisfying about the possibility of genuine change, notes media psychologist Dr. Vanessa Thompson. The audience wants Taylor to find happiness and stability, but they also want that journey to acknowledge and address the patterns they've observed over decades. This investment in Taylor's potential growth creates a viewership that is actively engaged in theorizing about her future and analyzing her past. The question of her professional standing has become a focal point for these discussions precisely because it touches on core aspects of her character identity. The therapeutic value of fictional struggles. Beyond pure entertainment value, Taylor's storyline offers viewers an opportunity to reflect on universal themes of self-sabotage, blind spots, and the difficulty of applying knowledge to one's own life. Many viewers find personal resonance in watching a character struggle with these deeply human challenges. There's something comforting about seeing even a fictional therapist struggle with the same issues she helps others navigate, comments viewer and psychology student Aisha Johnson. It normalizes the idea that understanding a problem intellectually doesn't automatically translate to solving it emotionally. This therapeutic aspect of storytelling creates an additional layer of engagement for viewers who may see aspects of their own struggles reflected in Taylor's journey. The possibility of witnessing her eventual growth and redemption offers a vicarious experience of hope and possibility. Conclusion. The unfolding drama awaits. As The Bold and the Beautiful continues to unfold its intricate narrative tapestry, the question of Taylor Hayes' professional status remains tantalizingly unresolved. Whether the writers choose to confirm the license suspension theory or take the character in an entirely different direction, Taylor's journey continues to captivate viewers with its complex exploration of human psychology and the eternal capacity for growth and change. What seems certain is that Taylor Hayes will remain a central figure in the show's emotional landscape, her struggles and triumphs continuing to resonate with the audience that has followed her through decades of dramatic evolution. As with all great soap opera characters, Her story is far from over. It is merely entering its next compelling chapter. Stay tuned to B&B Spoilers for continued in-depth analysis of this fascinating storyline and all the latest developments from the glamorous, tumultuous world of the bold and the beautiful. The drama never ends, and neither does our dedication to bringing you the most insightful commentary on daytime television's most compelling characters and storylines. Will Taylor reclaim her professional standing? Can she break free from destructive patterns? And what new challenges await this complex, flawed, but ultimately endearing character? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. Viewers will be watching every step of her journey with bated breath and passionate engagement.